So I wanted to show you why I was so pleased to get those big nuts, and why I think they are a ready-made hole. So here we are. Here we are. Here's an explanation. If you didn't want to make a hole, you know, make the concrete, make the mess in the block and the whatever, and you just wanted to make a hole, here's a hole. Let me put this away. Right. So there's two bolts going through the wall which hold this bracket. To this bracket there's a piece of tube which is a keep, which I call is a keep. But the thing is, you've got now a big hole. So what's the alternative? Weld a plate on the end of there and drill a little hole in it, or you know what I mean. It would be it's not a good. It's too big. It would rattle around the keep. So what I do, well, how I've used it in this particular instance, it's a keep for the rod. So that can be as long as you want. So this can go in as far as you want it to go in. In this particular case, I only wanted it to go that far in. So first of all, I've turned the hole 90 degrees. Where you've only got a wall going this way and I want a hole going that way, you can just make up a bracket and turn your hole 90 degrees. So you use a piece of scaffolding tube to the length you want to use it, and you and then you weld it. So now you've got a hole at a 90-degree angle where you want it. So now the front of the hole is a bit big to be holding your shaft. So what you do is you get a big nut and you weld. Okay, don't talk about my welding. It's there, it's stuck. So anyway, that is now a keep. So you're asking me now, well, why do you want to keep? What's the reason for that? Well, again, the big hole comes into play. What this is if you want to secure a door from the inside, all you do, what I do is I use this bar. You know, I like these clips. This clip clips over and under and through the door. It's just another security, just to keep somebody from coming this way through the door. So come on, let's get back to the big bolt. There again. So here's my shaft. Here's my security shaft, shall we call it. We've put it into the keep. We've been able to push it as far back as we want because it's got to fit into that gap there. Can you see? Okay. And again, this is a hole reduced to a smaller hole. So what we've done, we've welded a nut on the end of this shaft. Welded a bolt on the end of the shaft, and the bolt that fits there is there. Now if that was just welded on there, you could do that, but it would be a fairly small target to hit, wouldn't, you know. So how do you make what would be a small target to hit a big target to hit? Well, obviously you get a big nut and you weld the big nut in front, and you weld the nut that you want on the back of there. So you've reduced the hole now, haven't you? You've reduced it there you want. So what I simply do now to secure this bar so it doesn't get rattled out, you push it forward. Do you see how it makes it very easy now to enter this nut? You give it 1, 2, 3, or as many turns as you want. If you want to go a bit deeper, you can go a bit deeper, but you turn that in as far as you want. So now that's secure and this end is secure. So now you can use this as a basis to secure your door onto. The bottom one was the same thing, turn the hole. In this particular case, simple. If you don't want to get a clip, or you can't get hold of a clip, just put one bolt on top of another. Again, put a bolt on there and then put it through the door and mash it the other end so they can't undo it. And this sits on top of there. Get another bolt. This is an anti-loose clip. So what I did was a thread on the anti-loose clip, welded it together so it had a nice head, made my own pin. So now my pin drops in there. And as the name suggests, these are anti-loose pins, so you can leave it there if you wanted just a pin, but if you want to just pull that across as it's meant to do, they can rattle the door to hell and back, and that won't, or that will help it come undone. Just that it's a pin and gravity is good enough, but they're not going to rattle that pin out, are they? Not if you get yourself into a habit of always shutting it. So I thought I'd just show you why I was so pleased to get a big nut, because it's a portable hole. Because, you know, trying to make a real secure hole in concrete, that could be easily broken and pulled apart. And of course I didn't really have a good fixing on here, did I? So all I've done is transferred the strength from here and this wall, just transferred the strength around the corner, and then this just sits here and it's as strong as houses. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you why I love these big bolts, these big mobile holes. Yeah. Following the same theme, do you remember I welded a nut on the end of the shaft? So it made that shaft easily to connect to there, you see. So if you've got, you can make anything fit, whatever the hell you want it to fit. So I had the shaft coming down here, which is strengthens the frame, makes the triangle in the frame, but I put a hole there. And do you remember when we did these? I got the bar. Let's go over here. I got the bar. I made a hole, but it was quite a rattly hole. Quite rattly, wasn't it? So all I did was I got a nut and I welded the nut inside there, which made that a smaller hole. So this was a big hole that was quite difficult to shrink down to the exact size that I wanted. So all I did was I put the nut in there, crushed this in the vise so it was there, then I welded it on. All of a sudden I've got the hole that I want without going through the whole aggravation of drilling a hole in a flat plate. Can we see that a bit closer? You see what I did? See, warmed up the bar, made a circle, put a bolt in the middle, welded it in the middle, and then turned it into a hole. So a nut is not a nut in this house. Again, here you see, I wanted to put some sort of a detachment onto the end of that shaft, so I just welded. You call it a nut, I call it a mobile hole, and then I was able to make a connection. Yeah. I just thought I'd let you know.